Avery, whose show is this? And we're live. Welcome, everybody, here to the Lakers Lounge podcast. I'm Anthony Irwin, Senior Lakers Insider for Clutch Points. And today on the show, I'm joined by Harrison. And we're entering that weird, or we are smack dab in the middle of, I think, that weird, is the offseason done? Is it not? Is this the team? Is this the not? All of that stuff. And I think it offers us a pretty good opportunity, if this is indeed the team, to take kind of a macro look at things. And these are the episodes that I think Harrison and I have the most fun with, where we have kind of a general topic and it allows us to kind of wander around a bit. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to wander around. And speaking of wandering around, I have both my kids and they're currently eating McDonald's, and I didn't feel comfortable recording with my door closed while they eat McDonald's. My son is 2, my daughter is 5. You just never know how that's going to go. So I left my door open, and there's a decent chance that one, if not both, might wander in here. I just heard the dog gate fall over, so my dog might make her way in too. Who knows how this is going to play out?
We're just going to see Anthony's mic get taken out by a one-eyed dog just from off screen.
It's like Sandlot, right? Where it was always like when the dog jumped up and ate the ball when they tried to flick it up, right? That's going to be Callie. Just Harrison, how you doing?
You know, Anthony, I'm feeling like a first-round pick because with my new Sonos Ace headphones that they were kind enough to send me, it feels like sort of like pillows that also cancel noise are surrounding my ears, and so I'm doing great. I feel like an NBA.
Why is Sonos sending you stuff?
Because I'm an influencer.
Sonos, get at me. Also,
they know that my once weekly appearances on this show generate more influence than you being on here like 18 times a day. So I think they.
I live in a Sonos household. We have a variety of their products all over the house, and I love speakers. So Sonos.
Genuinely, they sent me these for free. Even if I had bought these, I would be saying these are the best headphones I've ever owned. They are incredible.
They make a great product. Their software could improve a little bit, but their product is really good.
Now I'm not getting another pair.
All right. It can't be a free, just straight up ad. I'm not going to do that for them. They have to at least send me shit.
I will,
and then
I'll change my name on the stream to it.
All right. So, like I said, today on the show, we're going to be taking a look at this roster as if it is indeed the opening night roster. Now, I think that's probably the likeliest outcome here, is that this is indeed the final roster. But I should stress again, as I did yesterday and as I have basically the last couple of days, that the Lakers are still technically working on stuff. I don't think Rob Pelinka is at Disneyland quite yet, though. You know, those passes are staring at him like the Green Goblin mask.
Like it's like, come on, Rob, it's a small world. Come on down. Do it.
So let's start with this question, Harrison. If this is the final roster, would you say it was a successful summer?
You know, I mean, like always, this depends on how you define success. I think, is it successful in the sense that get ready to post this clip on LinkedIn. It's going to go viral. Okay. So, you know, it's about steps, and no. So I think I think it was a successful offseason in the sense that they didn't do anything that I see having a chance to make them worse, either short term or long term. I guess you could argue losing DFS is bad, but I think, I was talking about this with Andy Kamenetsky yesterday on Locked On Lakers, but like, even if you were to take the DFS transaction and like you just push off to the side, it seems like the Lakers mismanaged those negotiations really badly with a Luka friend. There are obviously possible complications with that we can't know whether they hurt or help the Lakers' cases with it to get Luka to sign the extension. I think if he's recruiting Marcus Smart here and DeAndre Ayton, I think the chances are still decent. That he was somewhat on board with that, even if maybe not on board with like, hey, don't tell other GMs that my friend's knee is cooked. But you were to say, okay, the Lakers last year could have traded D'Angelo Russell.
Twitter will get really angry at you.
Sorry,
if you say knee, because that's
leg.
The whole reason that people think I was lying about it is his because I said, no, I misspoke and it was his ankle. And people are like using that as a reason that, no, I was lying the whole time. Then it was confirmed by, I think,
it would actually be very funny if the Lakers,
and then Low,
if the Lakers were incorrectly slandering which body part was not doing well. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how they found out. Like his agent got a call. It's like, wait, is there something wrong with his knee too?
Oh my God, Harrison. All right. We have to address this comment because I think it's a really good one. RoboCop.
My God.
Did Rob leak that Luka advocated for Smart in case it goes horribly wrong?
See, under normal circumstances, I would buy that. But I also think that Luka is new enough to the Rob experience that, like AD and LeBron that first summer, he doesn't know any better than to say that he's involved with the roster and like brag about it. And then like he doesn't know that what the possible pitfalls are of that if it turns out that Marcus Smart is terrible. But also, again, this is such a low risk move where you're just basically like signing the guy for free. That again, like circling back to the point that I was making, like if you were going to trade, if I had told you last year, hey, you can trade D'Lo and 3 second-round picks for DeAndre Ayton, Marcus Smart, and Jake LaRavia. Like, you probably would have done that without thinking, right? And that is essentially sort of what the Lakers ended up ultimately doing. And I think that, when you look at it through whatever perspective, that perspective, or even just the perspective of, hey, DFS out, these guys in, like it seems to me like the Lakers probably got better, or at least they got deeper in terms of having more guys that you could see in the rotation, and they didn't give up any first-round picks to do it. I would say they didn't give up Dalton Connect, but I don't think that anybody was really taking him. And so, but they didn't. Theoretically, he has a way to play. He could play himself back into being an asset, with the team this year. And they didn't give up anything of value that will allow them to stack towards the bigger trade that they're clearly aiming for, while also getting better. And so I do think that they deserve some praise for that creativity and taking advantage of those opportunities. And I do think they got better and that it was a successful summer in that respect.
So I think it also depends on what you believe going into the Dorian negotiations, where like the Lakers would like you to know that he was just not coming back, right? Like the people that I've spoken to closer to the Lakers just say he was gone. It was over. There was no.
And that's why we said his ankle was.
Yeah, right.
Didn't work.
We were trying to limit his options so that he would come back. No, they didn't actually say that part.
Yeah.
But and so like if you're assuming that is actually the case, that Dorian was gone no matter what, then
which it might have been. Tim McMahon has indicated multiple times that Dorian Finney-Smith wanted to get back to Texas and told him as recently as like a year ago in Brooklyn that he was a country boy and he wanted to get back out of the city.
Yeah. And in which case, don't trade for the guy who would want to eventually go back to the city. But let's take that part out of it. Let's say, because that would be an assumption, and that's based on a premise that the Lakers and that side is presenting, let's say there was something that the Lakers could have done to keep Dorian as well. The thing that I keep coming back to, Eric Pincus had sent a tweet saying that like, had the Lakers just moved Maxey, if they just got off of that contract, moved him in a pick to send him to cap space somewhere, they could have had Dorian, they could have had LaRavia, they could have had DeAndre, and they could have had Smart, right? Because that would have put them far enough below the first apron that they would have access to their non-taxpayer mid-level money, which went to Ayton and LaRavia, and would have given them the biannual exception that they used on Marcus Smart. And so like knowing that that's a possibility, and given Rob's indifference towards moving picks or using assets to move contracts, that would feel like a bit of a missed opportunity. But there you're talking about so many ifs that, it's just kind of difficult to go that far into the hypothetical. But kind of speaking of ifs,
and at that point, again, you're moving like probably a first-round pick for Marcus Smart, DeAndre Ayton, and I guess Jake LaRavia too in this case, which like maybe you would do, but I don't think Rob would do because he wants to save those up for the eventual co-star trade.
Yeah, I think it probably would have been a second-round pick, more so maybe a swap. But like I can't imagine it would take a team. It would
I guess
take
Maxi's
a first-round
expiring,
pick.
right?
Yeah, he's just expiring.
Yeah, so
I
I
don't
wouldn't
think
take
it would
first.
take.
Yeah, okay. So
Yeah.
then, yeah, I mean, but if the Lakers had, I don't think they had many seconds to trade, but yeah, maybe they could have gotten that done. Yeah,
they had the one that they
traded.
they had
to trade up
55
for
going into
Thiero.
that they turned into Thiero, but then they also have apparently the 2032 second rounder, I believe, that they could throw into a trade, and maybe that would have got it done. And then you have not just the depth that they added this summer, but you also keep the important rotation player.
I just don't know that a team's taking on Maxey even on an expiring deal for like 1 second-round pick, when they're not even sure.
You could technically do it with Gabe.
I don't know what team that is. Yeah.
You could technically do it maybe with Gabe, who recently played, and is like a stand-up veteran and all that stuff. But I don't know, the way that I kind of look at this. Jason Timpf was on the show earlier this week, I believe on Monday.
I listened to it yesterday, but on Monday.
And one of the points that we kind of hit in a roundabout way was ifs, right? Addressing your ifs in the offseason, and have the Lakers addressed enough ifs in their offseason to make me feel comfortable about this upcoming season. And if you look at it like he did through the premise, and like you have so far through the premise of maintaining flexibility and all of that stuff, then yeah, I would say that it's successful if that was their goal. But something I've been thinking about a lot, Harrison, and I think it's because I think about my own mortality because I'm looking at my kids getting older, and it's like there's no better time than the present is something that I find myself thinking a lot. And I'm looking at LeBron James and I'm looking at Luka Doncic, and I find myself wondering, what if 5, 6, however many years from now, we look back on this season and we say, damn, that was their best chance at a championship with Luka Doncic.
Do you think LeBron is looking at Bronny and thinking the same thing? That's why he wants them to go all in. He's like, I've only got so many years to play with my son. I mean, have a catch on the Staples Center floor.
We could joke about it, but I bet that is a thing. That was a thing as far back as last season.
I may only have one chance to raise him up on my shoulders when we win the championship.
This is probably before your time, and you aren't really a baseball fan. But I always think of there's my son. Speaking of. But I always think of Mark McGwire. He literally, Harrison just fell through the door. Come here.
I was going to say, I love that that you are looking at this adorable child and your other adorable child, Avery, and you're thinking about, you're like, they're getting older. We only have so much time together. And I really think that that's why the Lakers should have attached a second to Gabe Vincent to, get more financial flexibility and make themselves better this year.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. It's like, but what the point I was going to make. All right, here, Miles, what do you think about this Lakers offseason? Do you think it was any good? You think it was good? Say, go Lakers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so good.
And then what happened?
It's so good.
Yeah? All right, do you want to go play? Okay, say bye, everybody. Bye. All right, that's it.
Wow, an Irwin boy already at the young age of 2 spouting nonsense into a microphone. It's like he really is just like his dad.
What he said was a lot smarter than anything I said this summer. And there's number 1. All right, you want to say hi to everybody?
Hi, everyone.
That's the one who says bye, everyone. You see the growth?
Yeah, I was gonna say I think people probably would have recognized that. Yeah.
Yeah. Avery, do you think the Lakers had a good offseason?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you like Luka?
Yeah.
Is he your favorite Laker?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it because his
So
name
should
is a
Rob
Disney movie?
put in more
Yeah.
picks to make him better right now?
Oh, do you think the Lakers should try to win right now? Should they win a championship right now, or do you think they should build for the future?
I'm winning champion right now.
I agree. All right, there you go. All right, go.
She gets it.
Make sure your brother doesn't die. All right. All right, that's the Irwin corner. All right, guys.
They gotta win it for Avery.
Can you go ahead and go play with Miles on the basket over there? And can you close my door here? Miles, go play with Sissy. Go play Sissy.
Can you get the
Go
dog?
play with Sissy.
I want to see what Callie thinks about whether or not the Lakers should go all in.
I'm not positive if she's actually out of her spot or not. Bye, guys. All right.
Callie wandering the neighborhood. Just they just let her out. Looking for squirrels to tear her ACLs chasing. Yeah.
I told let's see. Oh, they're back. Miles, go play. Want to take a nap? Or do you want the basket? All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get him his favorite toy. And in the meantime, we're going to listen to this. Welcome, everybody, to the Locked On Lakers podcast.
Paul George really hit the side of the backboard.
It was wide open. I can't even make sense.
Lou Williams, he said they just came together this year as if that was an excuse, like the other team in the conference finals didn't do that.
Well, what happened was
It doesn't even matter.
You know, we didn't have time to get it together, you know? Like we just
Did he say that with like lemon pepper wings in his mouth? Is that what happened there?
You're nicking it off his
like,
fingers.
oh man, there were some absences that cost us some
I
time.
just can't quite figure
Picking
out
it out of his teeth.
why we don't have any chemistry.
It's like, Lou, in your mic'd up segment, you said 1, 2, 3 Magic City leaving the last huddle.
Simpler times. COVID.
I was like, why did the Locked On Lakers logo pop up on screen before I realized what clip it was?
I wonder, because obviously that different hosts and stuff like that. I wonder if they would get angry if I just grabbed that audio without putting the Locked On Lakers logo on it.
I'm sure
Probably.
we signed away the rights to that somehow. Yeah.
Anyway,
would be my guess.
so what I was thinking, and the point that I was trying to make before my children so rudely interrupted the show was was that like, what if this is the Lakers' best chance? Like, what if because like Jason made this point on the show, and it's something that I've been thinking about a lot is the Lakers are banking a lot on their ability, and I get it because they have landed those stars in the past, but they're banking a lot on, oh, we'll just get Giannis. Oh, we'll just get Jokic. Oh, we'll just get star X, Y, or Z, or maybe even Anzi. I don't know. And it's like, I understand the thought behind it, but also you have a pretty damn good second best player on your team right now in LeBron, coming off of a second team all NBA type season. Now maybe this is in fact the year that we see a precipitous enough decline that, okay, I get it why they were doing that. But until we actually see that's the case, I'm kind of treating him as if he's probably going to be pretty good at basketball next year. And if this is their last best chance to go after a championship, or their only best chance to go after a championship with Luka Doncic in the organization. Do we think they've done enough this summer to pursue that end goal? And I don't know that I would say that they have.
No, I don't think. I mean, I thought that you and Jason I forget which one of you it was, but made a great point about the amount of ifs that the Lakers are counting on. And that it's, if Marcus Smart can stay healthy, if LeBron can still play at this high of a level, like if Luka is going to come back like revenge body season and all going down and down and down the line. And if DeAndre Ayton decides to like basketball again, like there's a lot of things sort of that are up in the air for this Lakers team. And so, yeah, they certainly haven't made themselves, I don't think, inner circle contenders over the course of this offseason. But, and the thing, if you're going to criticize them for one thing, I think the thing that's fair is you can't both say, this team isn't good enough to win now, we don't want to use assets, doubling down on a bad hand, but also are like 1 through like 4 or 5 players are all untouchable. Because they're too valuable for us to possibly trade for anything. And also we won't move first round picks. And also, it's like you get to pick a couple, you need to sort of pick a direction and pick what is actually off the table. Because if you're really saying we want to build for the future and down the line and, we're sort of eyeing next summer or the summer afterwards to really take our big swing, then you should be trying to trade some of the guys that you have now for more assets to double down on that swing. Like truly just like punt the season if that's what you're doing. And if you're punting the season, don't go halfway to punting the season. And if you're going to go all in and you're saying this team's good enough to win now, then you should be using some of those contracts and salary ballast and trades to give yourself the best chance possible, instead of I hate to always go back to like the cliche Walter White, Breaking Bad metaphor, but like no half measures. Like you need to either you're building for the future or you're building for right now. But this sort of like, I'm going to stand on both tracks and leave my optionality open while sort of not really advancing either goal beyond the passage of time is not really a great plan either.
It's funny, Pete and I debated this in the last episode that he and I did together before I went to Vegas. And that was the literal text, not verbatim, obviously, but pretty damn close to verbatim, is that my problem with this planning for Giannis or planning for Jokic thing is that they aren't actually. Right. It's everything is a half measure. We're planning for Giannis. We're maintaining flexibility for Giannis. Okay, then turn Austin into the assets that would get you Giannis, or turn Dalton
turn LeBron. If that's what
turn
you're doing.
LeBron into the assets.
Work with LeBron to find a place that he wants to go and get something back for him, rather than him just leaving for nothing but salary flexibility next summer.
Well, because that was the other thing, I listened, or I saw the clip of McMahon, making the point on Hoop Collective, saying like, if this is what Luka was able to turn a chunk of their mid-level and a biannual exception into, that DeAndre Ayton and Marcus Smart, imagine what he could do with max cap money. But they aren't going to have it. They aren't going to have max cap money because LeBron's on the books for, if LeBron plays, he's on your books. And if you extend Austin, he's on your books. And if you consider Rui a part of the core, like they clearly did this summer, then he's on your books next season. You don't have that max cap space. And so if the plan is just to let all 3 of those guys walk for the sake of max cap space, then that's bad asset management.
That's not advancing the plan. That's like, yes, you get some financial flexibility, but you could get that same financial flexibility along with picking up assets to allow you to take other swings.
Yeah, and that gets back to your, again, terrible analogy whenever you use like the building blocks that you tried to say. But the point of the analogy is that like the Lakers are incapable of multitasking. They if they try to multitask, they wind up accomplishing neither task. Right?
Yeah.
And in this case, they're trying to maintain flexibility and they're trying to contend right now. It's a version of what the Golden State Warriors have been doing while they've wasted Steph Curry's prime. Is we're going to do this 2 timeline thing, and James Wiseman and Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody. And
I will say the 2 timelines are better when one's LeBron and one's Luka, but I take your point.
Well, but that makes it all the more frustrating that they're looking at it as a 2 timeline kind of a deal, because we know 2 timelines don't work.
And we know that Luka and LeBron could win on the same timeline. It's not like Luka's some young pup player that like needs to develop still into being like a winner. Like we've seen him lead a team to the finals and the conference finals. Like we saw him in his rookie year take the Clippers to the brink. He's
going to enter the season as like a top 3 MVP candidate betting wise. Like he's going to enter the season.
My guess is he's going to enter as the favorite. If he plays well in Eurobasket, I think, and you get the Lakers bump, like he's going to enter the season as the favorite for MVP.
Yeah. And they're talking about him as, and by the way, I think it was totally intentional when Clutch said, yeah, you guys are building towards the future, and my theory that is fairly well confirmed is that Clutch was getting, had heard the same whispers out there that Finney was gone, that Dorian Finney-Smith was gone. And LeBron was like, what the fuck? That was one of the 5 guys that JJ actually trusted in that playoff game.
Yeah.
We're just letting him walk, and I think that kind of inspired the messaging surrounding that, and the fact that the Lakers didn't want to give him another max 1-1. Or
at least didn't proactively come to him with such an offer, which is probably what they expected. I mean, that's been my read of it. Again, no reporting, but it just seems like where things broke down was they were expecting the Lakers to come to his doorstep and furnish him with, hey, LeBron, whatever you want. And they didn't do that. And he's like, wait a second, I don't want to ask for it. You're supposed to just come and offer this to me.
It's been funny to see it's been a version of the Russ thing all over again, where like they're both trying to get their stories out there without just directly saying what happened. Where from Clutch's perspective, they're saying, well, they never offered us the contract. And the Lakers are like, well, they never asked for the contract. And normally like superstars, like, I don't have to ask. You just put the contract on the table and I sign it.
And it is like, we know that both of these sides are aware of what the other is doing because, Rob, I think, has given a personal comment for almost every single free agent they've signed this summer, and nothing about LeBron opting in.
Yeah. Well, and also LeBron has not texted Ayton or Smart or any of the Lakers.
Do we know that for sure? Because, I mean, LeBron took a picture with all the guys at the Summer League game I was at. So, I think they've interacted. But, yeah.
Well, according to conspiracy theorists on there, he was kind of off to the side. There was like a bigger gap between him and the rest
how
of the
dare
players.
he? How dare he sit with his family instead of his daughter and his wife instead of
no? I mean, it's just look. We're forced to look into how ridiculous all of this stuff is because nobody is saying anything specifically, so we're just kind of stuck. But yeah, that's the kind of We'll pivot to actual expectations for this season, but I kind of wanted to look at it as can we define this as successful if it doesn't feel like the Lakers did everything in their power to win themselves or, to give themselves the opportunity right at the beginning of the season to be considered a title favorite while you have Luka and LeBron. How little lifting you have to do when your starting point is Luka Doncic and LeBron James. To be considered a title favorite, to not be considered a title favorite with those 2 guys as the starting point of your roster is insane to me. It's just crazy. The Lakers were considered title favorites with Kobe and Powell, going into every season that those guys were on the court together, and rightly so. And that was because of that front office surrounded those guys with a good enough supporting cast to confidently say that. The fact that I can't confidently say that about the Lakers with Luka Doncic and LeBron James coming off of the season that he did, it doesn't set in my mind. It doesn't sit well in my mind.
I agree. I will say that the league is a lot deeper than it was during the Kobe Powell years. And so you need more
by
than
design.
That level of top 2, to be able to like the Lakers, they have probably as good or close to as good of a top 2 as anyone in the league. It's the rest of the roster that, is much weaker than a lot of teams 3 through, 10.
But it's weaker because the Lakers are looking to satisfy both of these timelines.
Yeah.
You know, it's
they're choosing to shop in the clearance aisle and see like, hey, what's the best product we can get here, rather than dipping into their savings.
Yeah, it's like a guy that I've been thinking about a lot lately, especially coming off of the point that I made about Luka and Smart, right? And the Kobe comp to Luka reaching out to Smart, who he didn't really have a prior relationship with other than competing on NBA courts.
Apparently, they played against each other when Luka was like 16 or something in Madrid. Like, I think someone played I think Smart, it must have been the Celtics, played a preseason game over there or something. I saw Pickup Hoop on Twitter was bringing this up.
That's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But still, like Smart said, at his like intro stuff, that
it'd be very funny if Marcus Smart was like, yeah, this guy was busting my ass at 16 and I knew I had to team up with him one day.
like one day. No, the funnier one is like I did the whole Boston thing and I knew that I needed to be a Laker. I was on the wrong side of history over there.
He absolutely was. And that is the part of the offseason that I'm honestly most excited about, is the Celtics fan. This is also why I want the Lakers to go all in. The Celtics fan crash out if Marcus Smart helps lead the Lakers to a title after they dumped him to get theirs, when he was like their most beloved like core player. You know, it would be like if the Lakers like had lost Alex Caruso to the Celtics and then he had helped them tie them in banners. Like that's the type of
I need it. I need it in my life.
I know. I need it so bad. I need Marcus Smart talking about like how Lakers fans are better and like Boston fans just like losing their minds online. Like, come on, we got to go all in around Marcus Smart here.
Yeah. So what are fair expectations with the conversation that we just had as the backdrop here? What do you think are like fair expectations of this current roster? And we can also factor in the assets, because I do think eventually they're going to flip Kleba and eventually they're going to flip Gabe and maybe Dalton and that 31 or 32 first round pick. I do think eventually they're going to improve this roster. I keep coming back to either the Portland guys, once Portland realizes, oh yeah, that's right, it's harder to win in not March when everybody is trying to win. And like I'm
turns
looking
out
at
Dame doing like the watch signal at people on the bench didn't really like up our October odds,
Yeah. I'm looking at like Dallas, right? And the fact that they think D'Angelo Russell is a decent Kyrie Irving stand-in without Luka also there.
I love Anthony Davis as a GM. It's incredible.
And then I think Phoenix is another team that eventually is going to, strip their roster completely clean to give Booker a more viable chance here moving forward. So I think Dylan Brooks is a name to kind of keep on your guys' radars. And actually the reason I was making the Marcus Smart point was because I think Brooks is somebody who, I think if he was playing against Kobe, Brooks eventually would have been a Laker because of how much he pissed off the Lakers. So like I
disagree. I think that Kobe would not have respected like the clown show aspects of it,
That might be true.
Marcus Smart is a guy he would have liked, but like Dylan Brooks, I'm going to take 20 shots and then talk shit and then avoid the media when I lose. Like, I don't know. Kobe wouldn't. I don't think Kobe would have vibed with that.
Well,
he also all the good players in the league hate Dylan Brooks. Like it's
He also called LeBron old, which had he called Kobe old, I don't think Kobe would have liked that. So I think that
I don't know that Dylan Brooks would still be alive.
Calling Kobe old. But what are fair expectations? Like, would you say like if they don't do this season was a disappointment?
I think as of right now, I'm still concerned. The thing that I keep coming back to is I'm worried about the defense. And Marcus Smart helps that. Jake LaRavia probably helps that. Slotting Austin into a more better role for himself, as you and Jason talked about, probably helps that. But it's just like with DeAndre Ayton sort of at the centerpiece, and you still are starting like 3 to 4 forward size guys that defense is not the area that they're known for making their primary impact in. Like, I'm just still a little worried about the regular season defense being at a high enough caliber for them to be like a home court team. And I know that that's going to sound like a hot take when they were just the 3 seed last year, but the separation between 3 and 8 last year was like 2 or 3 games. Like it was not very much. And the Lakers, like with a couple bad breaks, could have ended up on the bottom side of the playoff bracket in terms of record. And it wouldn't have been that they were a significantly worse team. It would have been that they like lost 1 game in the 1 or 2 games in the clutch that they won this year. And so I think with as good as the West is, I'm still concerned about the defense at its current level. And that is the area where, like, ironically, I feel like they could use a Dorian Finney-Smith or like one more guy that you feel like you can capably throw out there and contribute on that end. And so, I think they should definitely be a playoff team. They should definitely be looking to avoid the play-in. Like, I think the play-in's a disappointment. Like outside of crazy injuries, whatever, and then you just try to figure it out. But like with reasonable health for a team at this age, I think they need to stay out of the play-in. And I think for right now, like that, and then give yourselves as good of a chance going into the playoffs healthy as you can, because I think right now that is your best sort of most realistic chance, is to play the matchups, get a little bit lucky, and get to the point where your offense is so good that you can overcome some of those defensive shortcomings while also amping up on that end in the postseason.
I love this point here from Tam the Pessimist, which is ironic that it's Tam the Pessimist who's making this point. But agreed, why not double down?
That's how close they are. We have pessimists making the optimistic point.
Yeah. Harrison, I can't tell you how weird it is for me to talk to Pete and have to sell him on trying this season. Like, it's crazy to me. That, like,
I've always said Pete doesn't care about winning. That's what I've always said. I think he's it's entertainment source Pete. Him and his movie friends, they just want to go sit courtside and watch a good product and gossip.
It's so crazy to me. Like, I feel like I'm in the upside down, right? Where I feel like I'm the one who's saying like, no, I actually think they might be pretty good. They have Luka and LeBron. They can't possibly be that far away. And that's essentially the case that's being made here. When will there be another offseason where you get DeAndre Ayton and Marcus Smart caliber players for free? You could essentially improve your team twice. And that's the other part of that's the other part of this, Harrison, too, is that like you're not going to have DeAndre Ayton at this number next season if he's on the roster. And you're not going to have,
as you and Jason pointed out, you're not going to have, which is a great point, you're not going to have contract year DeAndre Ayton next year even.
Right, you're not gonna. Well,
you got to weaponize the contract year, Da, and then not re-sign him. Do not re-sign him.
But like, same for Smart. You're not gonna have Smart at this number next season if you have him on your roster. In
a contract year, looking to prove everyone who has doubted him, which I assume he thinks is like the whole world, wrong.
You're not going to have Austin at this number next year. He's going to opt out after this season, and you're going to have to pay him. You're not going to have Rui at this number. Like, this truly, I'm not kidding. Like, the reason this all came up wasn't just because I was watching my kids play in my backyard and thinking like, man, this could be it. But like, it was, but it was because like, I'm looking at this cap sheet. I'm looking at this roster. I'm looking at the starting point of this roster. And I'm like, this is a pretty damn good opportunity. And we're looking at this and, eventually if the idea is to strip it down and then rebuild all over again with a 32-year-old Giannis, who can't shoot the way that LeBron can, I don't know how he's going to age. He's an injury.
He's going to age okay at 32. I don't know that he's playing into his 40s like LeBron, but I think at 32 he's still going to be. I mean, look at how athletic LeBron still is.
Yeah,
like Giannis's athleticism isn't just going to disappear.
No, but like Giannis also can't shoot the way that LeBron does, and I think that makes it difficult to see, like to forecast how he's going to age. Although I do like that he's added a mid-range jumper like that. I think makes him a lot more dynamic.
The Lakers can empower him by allowing him to sign his own shooting coach that they don't have to pay for, and then that might teach him how to play, to shoot.
All right, so this was a theory, not sourced or anything like that, but this is a theory that was kind of bouncing around in my head. Was like, I wonder if part of why the Lakers, even given this opportunity in front of them, are still looking to the next superstar is next ownership group kind of based in that technically I guess they were still minority owners of the Lakers before they bought the majority share But if they had maybe heard that they have a chance at superstar X, then all of this kind of falls into place and it all kind of makes sense and stuff. If not, though, and they're just kind of looking at this opportunity, and Rob Pelinka specifically, and Jeannie Buss, who, by the way, like the way that I hear about it, she's still maintaining the same level of organizational power even after the sale finally goes through. It's not going to be a figurehead kind of a deal.
That's easy to say for now. If they have any meaningful decisions to make, I'm curious if that is the case.
Well, it's easy to say now,
like she's the same power to what, like to sign off on buying low on Marcus Smart. It's like, yeah, okay. I mean, I can't imagine the new owners were like opposed to that,
Well, what I do think is a more interesting conversation is like what kind of power she has over the direction of this stuff, right? Like, is this Giannis Jokic plan a product of Rob Pelinka, Jeannie Buss leadership? And what if Guggenheim disagrees with that plan? What if Guggenheim is like, hey, you guys are pretty good. Could you give this a go?
Yeah, the last thing that I'll say, because I do have a heart out here, is that I think, like, to me, I almost wonder if the star thing again is to shout out to your commenter, keep his job, Rob, of that's the keys that you're jingling in front of the new ownership of, like, you can't judge me by what I do right now. Like, I'm setting up to you gotta get all your dominoes in a row to go and get Giannis. And so and then if we miss out on him, well, okay, we couldn't plan for that, but now we got to plan for the next star, and we're still maintaining flexibility forever. I think, and also I just wanted to say to RoboCop, if you are still here, I'm going to be thinking about, did Rob leak that Luka recruited Smart in case it doesn't work out for like probably the rest of the offseason. So I want to truly thank you for that. Incredible Lakers Lounge theory for me and Anthony specifically, and I could tell that you are a real listener of the show.
Yeah, like you get the show. Yeah, absolutely. Well,
this one's for RoboCop.
You do have to run. Anything that you want to plug before we get you out of here?
No, just we're still going to be plugging away at SB Nation. So check out, the things are winding down, but if you need a place to come and talk, so as a Lakers fan, Silver Screen to Roll is going to have some tools for you upcoming that I think tease a little bit. And so yeah, check that out.
All right, so Harrison is going to jump off. I see a couple questions here, and if you guys have any super comments, I will go ahead and answer those. Harrison, thanks for hopping on. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, see ya.
All right, so I got this in my mentions. I got this question in my mentions, and I guess I never answered my expectations for this season. Technically speaking, I'm not sure Harrison did either. My expectations for this season, not just given this roster, but also given their assets and stuff like that. My expectations for this season is win at least one playoff series, and probably two is what I would go into the season kind of expecting. You have Luka Doncic in a season where he's probably going to be the betting favorite to win MVP. You have LeBron James in a season where he has heard all. The one thing that I'm really curious about is what LeBron's response to kind of league-wide, not ambivalence, or apathy, but just kind of like there was certainly, I believe, interest in LeBron. If he was bought out, everybody would have been interested in him. But the fact that no teams seemed all that interested in moving the heaven and earth to trade for LeBron, I kind of wonder what his response to that is going to be. I'm really curious what what it's going to look like when he plays Cleveland, knowing that they didn't really move all that quickly when it came time to lining up assets or lining up a situation to trade for LeBron. The fact that the Knicks were kind of like, yeah, I guess we could trade for him if you want to trade for Cat. And I'm really curious how he's going to handle that, playing against that team. Dallas, right, leaked specifically that they're only interested in LeBron so long as he is a buyout candidate. And I really kind of wonder, like, are we going to get an FU LeBron season 2 while we also get the Luka FU, I'm in shape season as well. And if you get two superstars, like super duper stars, playing at that level where they have it personally against, the rest of the league, the way that the league kind of responded to their various situations, I want to know what that looks like. I want to know what that team looks like. And I want to know what that team looks like while it goes into the extent that a team should go in on those two superstars playing at that potential level. And look, that's another if, right? And, if Luka's in shape, if LeBron doesn't decline further, if this, if that, if all of that stuff. And the point of off seasons are to kind of check off as many ifs as you possibly can. And some teams did so this summer to a greater extent than the Lakers did. And given the opportunity that the Lakers have in front of them, that kind of disappointed me. So something to kind of have you guys thinking about here moving forward. But my expectation is win one playoff series and probably two. That hopefully over the course of the season, this roster at some point looks good enough that you go into the postseason saying they're a favorite in their first round against their first round opponent. They're probably slight favorites in their second round opponent. And then we see how things go in the conference finals and obviously the finals. So yeah, that's where we stand there. All right. So let's really quickly answer Trying to Win asked this on Twitter. Jaden Ivey trade ? So I'm Ron Burgundy. Under their previous leadership, I was hoping that the Lakers, not the Lakers' previous leadership, but Detroit's previous leadership, because they kind of cleaned house. I was hoping that, because Monty Williams didn't really seem all that interested in playing Jaden Ivey, I really believed all along in the talent. So I was like, go get him. Whatever you need to trade, go get him. If they don't believe in him, go buy low on this guy who we know is going to be really good. And obviously it didn't play out that way. And I think now his price is such that the Lakers would have to give up more than they're comfortable giving up going into the season to go get him. So I like the talent. He's an archetype of player who plays with force, a real athlete, and a young athlete at that I would be really kind of curious in. But as it stands right now, I don't really see it happening. I forgot about a meeting that I had at 1:00. So Bill, sorry, I'm running late. So I'm going to go ahead and answer one more question, maybe. Yeah. All right. I think that's all the questions we got. So shouts to Harrison for coming on the show. Shouts to my kids for coming on the show and being patient the way that they were. Shouts to you guys for tuning into the show. Please hit that like and subscribe button while you guys are here. Or if you're on Twitter, head on over to youtube.com/@LakersLounge to find the show. And then until tomorrow or until the next time you guys hear from me, I'm Anthony Irwin saying, have a great rest of your day. Make somebody else's. And I will talk to you when I talk to you. Have a good one, everybody.